We've had a lot of interest over the last 10 years, and we've seen that area of business grow substantially. We just finished our best year ever as a company building solutions such as those. We, foremost, about half of all the prescriptions in a pharmacy today are eligible really for a high volume centralized system. Everything that's a refill basically qualifies. And that's work traditionally that's been done in a store today behind the counter by the pharmacist that ties up all that time and effort. So with a centralized solution, they're basically able to offload all of that work completely out of the pharmacy, put it into a very highly automated, very efficient, very cost-effective factory per se. And then that frees up that additional time for them to redeploy directly with customer-facing activities. Traditionally, we've seen chains approach this with a retail-based robot, but that robot doesn't automate enough of the activities. There's still, 85% of the prescription process that a retail-deployed robot doesn't affect. So a centralized process really captures all the steps that can pull a pharmacist away from customer-facing activities. We found that it's very easy for any type of business to not see the forest through the trees. You're so focused on day-to-day operations that you're not looking out long-term strategically at what you should be doing, on a 12-month, 5-year, 10-year basis. And as a result, in just trying to deal with day-to-day operations, getting your prescriptions out the door, serving those patients that are standing in front of you, the right amount of planning is really not taking place that should take place. So pharmacy intelligence really gives a pharmacy industry specific consulting process that allows them to have intelligence-based or intelligence-driven activities that every level of the pharmacy can engage in that will impact their organization immediately and long-term. So there's tons of data points that really are available for a pharmacy today, but they really just don't know how to act on that data. So this intelligence piece, if you really thought of it as an app or as a front end or as a GUI that's customized for each position, allows them to really look at a dashboard and say, well, what can I as a pharmacy manager do today to impact my operation? What can I as a CFO of a pharmacy chain do to impact that area of my operation? As the distribution side of the company. So we found as our customers have embraced it, it enables them to have that daily impact. And more importantly, look at the future. They can predict impacts on operations and process by putting their current information and projected information into these same models and look at how that might impact without having to disrupt their daily operation. And with that, then make the correct decision for their business today. Every time we have a variable involved in a process, it creates an opportunity for a mistake to happen. So that's why workflow has been so essential in integrating that in a pharmacy process itself. So if you think about counting technology, whether that counting technology is deployed at a pharmacy, or whether it's deployed in a central fill or a mail order operation, the dispenser is really the key workhorse in all of that. It's actually counting the pill. Most automation that exists today, it's relying off of the user themselves to perform the calibration, the maintenance. And with that, it introduces an opportunity for a mistake or a non-consistent process between different users of the same product. The Model 4 is the first product that on the market today that actually self-calibrates. Our technology in the past would calibrate from a file. This will actually teach itself to calibrate right on site for the latest NDC with no waiting for any type of calibration. And it is using a computer-based model to calibrate, so it takes away the human element. So you get the highest accuracies we've seen in the industry. And then also in that same dispenser, we've integrated new types of material. We have an electrostatic repelling plastic that with the charge that actually repels dust, so it creates a lower maintenance. And with lower maintenance and less dust, that creates higher accuracy as well. And finally, being a computer itself, the dispenser, it monitors itself for the life of the use of the dispenser, not just that particular calibration. So as you change out drugs from lot to lot, it's always monitoring its process and providing feedback that we look at in our consulting labs to see and make sure that you are getting the highest accuracy possible. That's a great question. We are a company that's founded on retail-based counting automation. So to attack this paradigm, or to use a term we hear a lot, to disrupt our own technology and look at new innovations, is something we had to look at. And so as we looked at our robots or semi-automated counting technology deployed at the store level, we had to look at that ROI model ourselves and challenge the veracity of it. There is an ROI model for all retail deployed technology. The question is it the best place really to deploy your dollars? And that's where we've seen this huge evolution in centralization. We feel that centralization is one of the best methods to deploy your capital. But secondarily, there's a huge opportunity for disruptive technology in the retail marketplace itself. Non-pill counting automation. So the RxSafe is a brand new to market technology introduced about 3 years ago. We have installed a large number of installations now. We've seen a very, very good ROI on that. And the ROI is what we call a true hard cost ROI. You could actually see it in a financial balance sheet, where in traditional automation, it's somewhat subjective. You can say, I can redeploy this labor perhaps and get this type of return over here. It's what we call soft cost ROI. But in this, we actually see it impact areas that our traditional automation doesn't. It impacts inventory. It impacts diversion. It impacts expiring stock. It has a significant impact on labor, impact on space available in the pharmacy that can be redeployed. So with that, we've had a lot of interest from the major chains and are working with several of them already. We've had large deployments in the military. We've had large deployments in the hospital space with some of the premier hospital pharmacies, and a large number of deployments with independent pharmacies as well. So that product's gained a lot of traction. We have bright hopes for it, and the industry seems to really be embracing it. Every company needs to look outside itself in order to improve. We recently heard, if you don't disrupt yourself, you yourself will be disrupted. And that disruption generally needs to come from somebody who has that perspective that's not that daily grind within your own organization, somebody that's looking at this with a fresh set of eyes. And traditionally, pharmacy chains will reach out to standard consulting firms that aren't specialized in pharmacy. So the professional services side of our company is solely focused in pharmacy consultation. And with that, that gives us a very high degree of specialization. The problems that we see in one chain are generally the same problems we see in another chain. They may manifest themselves somewhat differently, with different combinations, different percentages. But for us, this is what we do day in and day out. We're not a drug wholesaler. We don't do any other business except pharmacy technology and automation. So with that, our professional services have a unique point of view. We're also partnered with the Watson Institute, which is one of the premier engineering organizations at SUNY New York. With that, they provide a very healthy back end, leveraging a large faculty base, a large professional resource base, and they work in tandem with us to consult on these large projects. And we have several of those right now in process with some of the largest retailers. We've done quite a few with large hospital pharmacy organizations. And we see a very, very bright spot. And it's really the means to the ends. The professional services really leads back into our core business. It generally leads back to saying, look, now that we've analyzed this is the type of solution that can get you this type of result. It really empowers them to make a very financial-based decision. And nobody wants to take a risk that's not calculated. We all would like to have, at the ultimate, 100% certainty in our choice and decision. And I can't promise 100% certainty, nor can anybody, but we can promise that the diligence, the knowledge, the expertise is at a high level that you can have a very high level of comfort in the recommendations and services that we provide.